All right, hello everyone. Let's start today's session. So what we discussed in a previous session, how to create a procedures. So we have finished completely statements, I guess statement, prepared statement, and callable statement. Okay, and how to create a procedures and how to call the procedures. Everything we have seen with the syntaxes. Procedures with input and output parameters. Yes. Right. So let's see some more things.
This conference will now be recorded.
Today we'll see some type of result sets. Okay, so as we discussed, like in the projects, database developers is responsible to develop SQL queries. Database developers is responsible to develop the procedures, sequences, views, all these things, etc. Right. So server database DB server is responsible to develop, and developer calls to the procedures. Now, Sun Microsystem has designed bidirectional result sets. Sun Microsystem has designed bidirectional result set. Why? Because to compete with .NET. Initially, Sun Microsystem JDBC API supports only forward-only result sets. What do you mean by forward-only result sets? Let me tell you. Okay, so first of all, result set types. There are some types of result sets are there. See, to create a statement object, we use create statement method. Create statement method. Okay, when we use create statement method, we get the statement object, right? Con.create statement, and if the return type is statement object, we will get it. Using this select query, we will get that object see like this. Using this statement object, statement dot execute query. If I execute this some select query, because execute query method is used for select query. All right. When you call that, what happens here? You will get the result set object. You will get the result set object. Result set statement dot execute query. Statement dot execute query. Now, when you are executing this result set object will be holding the data from this result set object will be holding the data from database, means it might be holding the complete table. Now that table is non-scrollable and non-updatable. Non-scrollable and non-updatable. One second. What happened? Breaking. Okay, voice is breaking. Is it breaking or is it very low? Okay, I switched the network. But normally this network is the backup one. Sometimes that network doesn't work properly. If this is because on my original network, my other laptop is connected, and if it is breaking now, let me know. I'll switch it one more time. Okay, so when you get the statement object, you're getting execute query. Execute query will get the result set object. So that result set object is non-scrollable and non-updatable. Non-scrollable and non-updatable. What does that mean? Means you cannot scroll, because like I said, every result set object is having one pointer, and that pointer will be pointing above the table. We have to move that pointer to forward direction, because by default initially when JDBC API was released, okay, the pointer was only forward only direction, means top to bottom, first row, second row, third row. Okay, when Java realized that they don't have scrollable result sets, because when they checked .NET, in .NET they have scrollable result set, so they also released bidirectional result set in the JDBC API. Okay, so to convert this statement object, to convert this result set object into a scrollable and updatable result set, you need to call one more method. That means in the JDBC API they added one extra method. What is that method? Instead of, like, let me keep this like this. Okay, when you call create statement method, create statement method, they gave some named constants, some constant values in the result set object. You can call directly with the help of giving the result set parameter. What are those? First is int, it's a result set type. What type of result set it is? Is it a scrollable or non-scrollable? Okay. Second one is result set type and result set concurrency. Result set type and result set concurrency. Okay, so this will define, and what parameters you need to give, I'll tell you. Okay, so instead of creating a statement with empty brackets, to make your result set object scrollable and updatable, give two parameters. Give two parameters. Now, for first parameter, you have three options. First parameter, you have three options, three constants, I can say. What are those? Type, type forward only. This type forward only was the default one, means since the beginning. Then they released type scroll insensitive and type scroll sensitive. These are the constant values. You can call these constant values directly with the help of the interface reference, because these constants will be static. Okay, for what type? And for concurrency, you have two parameters. Actually, for first also two parameters only. This is the forward only is the default one. Forward only is the default one. Okay, for result set concurrency, you have two options. What is that? Concur read only. Second option is concur updatable. Okay. Okay, so we will see that what are the differences. Okay, so generally the Java programs will read the data given by the Sun microsystem using its method to make bidirectional result set. When we create the statement object, we need to supply two parameters, one from above, one from the below options. Okay, one for set types and one for set concurrency. Okay, these are called constants. All right, now by default it is forward only type and it is read only type. Okay, now let me go to the Eclipse and we'll see one example, which is okay. Now, before going to that, it will open. Okay, let me write some methods before that. Now, some methods are there available. Okay, what are these methods? For scrollable and updatable result set. Instead of going to the database and writing the query, sending the query to the database and getting the query and or getting a particular record, what you can do? You can use these methods from the result set object to retrieve the data, to move the data, to update the data. How you can do that? Like you have, if you wanted to move to the next row, what normally you will do? See this. If I go to this statement, this is my statement example, right? So all this will be common. This is my user connection establishing create statement. The moment you create statement, you have to provide two parameters. What are those two parameters? Type and concurrency. So can I just take the same, I will not change this one, copy. I will create a, we are in ST demo, class loading interface, JDBC. I want a new class saying result set demo class finish. Okay, so I have a complete program here. So if I save this file and run this file, what's happening here? Okay, this is an insert. I don't want it. I'll just terminate this one. What I will do here is I will change the query because this is an insert query. I wanted to retrieve the data. I wanted to retrieve the data. So instead of insert option, I will write a query. What's my table name? Select star from employee. Okay, that query, what query I'm executing, even I don't want to check that, and I'm executing the query. Save this. Okay, select star from employee. This is the execute query. Pause the query here. Result set object, you got it. Save this file. Save this file. Now once you have the result set, now you know that the complete data is holding by this particular record. Okay, I wanted to go to my database table. What's my connect? Select star from tab. I have only one table. Okay, these are the records which is available inside my table. Okay, now, so what I will do here is to move forward only. By default, it is move forward only. So I have initially they provided only one method called next method, and I can display that. Okay, instead of that, what they did is they have given me some extra methods, like on what row I am. System.out.println of rs dot get row. Let me just rs dot control save, run this file. I am on the first row right now. If I call this, save this file, and I'm seeing this, I am inside, I'm on the fourth row. I'm on the fourth row. Suppose I wanted to go to first row, rs dot first and system.out.println of run this file. What you are getting? Exception you are getting. Invalid operation for forward only result type, result set. First, this is the exception because you are trying to go to the first row back again. You move forward to fifth row or fourth row. Okay, next, first, second, third, fourth. Currently I am on fourth row. I can display only fourth row not the first, second, and third. When I try to go to the first row, what I'm getting? I'm getting some exception. I'm getting some exception. Okay. So for that, I need to call another method, not create statement, but create statement with two parameters. What are those? Series. If you just press control space, you're having some options here. Second option, take the option, two integer parameters. Okay. What's the integer parameter? First, I wanted to see about the statement. Control, create statement. Okay, let it be. So you have to provide both the options because it's not providing separately for scroll and separately for updatable. Okay, for now, result set dot. What's my first option? By default, it is forward only. Okay, I wanted to go for type scroll sensitive or insensitive for bidirectional. Shift, control space. I have option some type scroll insensitive. I'll go there. Okay. Now second option also I have to provide. I'm providing right now. I'll explain you after this. Result set dot conquer read only I'm taking. Okay. Saving this data. So I have changed whatever the data, creating the statement object. That's result set query will be different now. Let me run this file. Okay, I'm not getting any exceptions. After coming to the fourth row, it moved back to my first row. Getting the point? Okay, so I moved like next, fourth row. Then again directly I moved back to the first row because of scrollable results that I have now. Current row is first one. Okay, like that. RS dot, you will be provided with so many options. What is the last row? How many rows I have in a table? Maybe 1, 2, 10, 100. I don't know. Go to the last row and display it. Okay, run this file. Okay, I have 10 columns, sorry, 10 rows available inside my employee. That means 10 employee IDs, 10 employees are working. 10 employees are working. RS dot, like if you wanted to go for some particular row, what you can do? There is a method called RS dot absolute. RS is nothing but result set. Normally you will see result set reference name also result set only. So result set dot absolute of 5. Fifth row I wanted to go. Okay. Current row is 5. Okay. Now this is about scrolling. Now when what is the purpose of read only? Read only means you can only read. Update only means you can not only read, you can update the data inside the database. You can update the data inside the database by using. Now you can imagine without sending any queries. Without sending any queries, you can update the data inside in the database. Now, when there is an update in the, okay, one more thing I wanted to do. When there is an update inside a database, if it is not reflecting in the result set, then the result set is called insensitive. Okay, now by using some techniques, we are able to update the records in the result set as well. How? We have these two options: conquer read only and conquer updatable. Conquer read only and conquer updatable. Okay, one more point. When we are working with the bidirectional result set, we need to make sure that this select query, whatever we are using, does not contain star. Select query does not contain star. Star means we have to provide the row names. Okay, how to do that? I'll show you. That means I gave you one example for projection and selection also, right? What is projection and what is selection? For that, you have to use projection for this one. Okay, so where are the methods? Like methods, you can just get it from like we have seen what is the first one, last one, absolute. What's the absolute one? Like that, you can call rs dot after last or before first, like these kinds of things also. Okay, after last or previous. After you calling after last, then previous. Okay, find columns if you wanted to find the columns. Like this, you can perform so many methods are available in the result set. According to your requirement, you can search and do that. Okay, now for conquer only, see, listen carefully. If you wanted to update the data available inside the database server, then we need to specify some updatable parameter here. If we specify the result set concurrency as updatable, then we can modify the data inside the database server. Now, using this result set object without writing any queries, we can update the data inside the database. That means this updatable concept, see, I'm changing. Right now it is read only. I will change it to updatable. Now, whatever the data this result set is holding, will be holding, right? We can update the data. Let me show you. Okay, now let's do one thing. Can we do this? Yeah, I'll make changes in this page only. Okay, now result set dot absolute of second row. I'm going. First, I wanted to delete something. Let's delete something from the second row. I wanted to delete second row something. Let's see, absolute. Let's go to the second row and rs dot delete. I have a method called delete row. I wanted to delete it. Save this file and run this file. We are getting some exception. Current row is 10. No result set. Delete row. I cannot perform delete row. Invalid operation for read only result set. Why not? This is not read only. Why it is showing read only? This is updatable, right? Okay, yes. Like I said, we cannot give star. We have to give fully qualified column names. What are those? EMP ID, EMP name, and salary. Okay. It's executed. I got executed. After this delete row, I wanted to check whether this row, after 4 I should get 3. Let's see. Second row got deleted. I was having 9 rows. Now I have only 10 rows. Then now I have 9 rows. That means I'm not sending any delete query to the database. I already have the result set data. Now I am performing some operation on that resulted data, and changes are happening inside the database as well. That is the power of result set. That is the power of result set. Okay. Now what I will do, like this, if you wanted to remove the duplicates, any more duplicates you have, you can delete it. If not, leave it. Okay. Now, if I run this one more time, this will delete again. I wanted to insert some one extra row, for example, and I wanted to row as number 6 is not there. 6 is not there. Okay, let's see. At what location also? Absolute at the beginning or at after 2 rows. You can also give that by going with the help of absolute. Okay. Now rs dot absolute row to 4. Let's go to there. Then you can go. You wanted to insert something. Insert a insert row. Okay. Or there's one more method called move to insert row. Move to insert row. Then once you have moved to insert row, update the update. What's the first column type? It's an integer, I guess. Update int at first column. What's the value? You can read this data from keyboard as well, like 6, right? rs dot update string at second index, second column. You wanted to give as what are the names here giving here? Some names, right? Some string value. Okay. rs dot third row update double 3 and give some, right? Okay. After this, rs dot insert row. Save this and run this file. Okay. I'm not displaying anything. I wanted to check. Go to the database and check. I got 10 rows. Okay, absolute row is not working. It's adding a new. You can, maybe you can move with some extra methods, but still, 6 column has been added, name and the salary. Data has been added with the help of select query. We are performing BML operations, insert, update, delete. You can update also. How? Let me just, I don't want to add one more time. I wanted to update something here. There's a spelling mistake here. What I can do? I wanted to NISH. What I will do here is I will use rs dot go to absolute 1 rs dot update string 2 comma sh 2 comma sh rs dot update row. Okay, run this file, execute it. So DANISH should come. Spelling mistake has been changed inside the database. Getting the point? So that is possible only you can when you give the result set types here. If it is read only, you cannot do that because by default it is read only. Okay. So if I try to perform that same, I'm getting some exception, invalid operation. Okay, it's insensitive. Still, I'm getting invalid operation. Okay, read only op. So you need to change this to these two result set options are important. Result set updatable. Okay. Now you can scroll the result set from top to bottom or bidirectional, we can say. Okay. You can go to an absolute row inside the database table, and you can update the rows. You can delete the rows, and you can insert a new row inside the database with the help of a select query, with the help of result sets, by providing one simple two simple parameters. Getting the point? So this is about scrollable and updatable result sets. Clear? All right. So I'll show you one more thing today. It's a small topic, and what is batch execution? Any idea about batch execution? Batch execution. It's small and very interesting. Okay, and it is having some advantages also. Its own advantages. Like, see, by seeing this name only, you can understand that if you wanted to execute the queries, or if you wanted to send the queries as a batch, you can create a batch object. You can create a batch object and you can send the queries at once. You can send the queries at once. Instead of sending the queries one by one, you can put all the queries inside a batch object and send that object to the database table. Getting the point? So batch execution is nothing but a group of SQL queries. A group of SQL queries. Okay. Now sending multiple queries to the database server. It's called as batch execution, or group of queries executing at once. Okay. It's having some simple methods called first add batch. You can add the queries and execute batch. Clear batch. Okay, once you have submitted everything, you can clear the batch so that you can later on you can add some new batches, new queries inside the batch and send the queries one more time. Now, what is the purpose of batch execution? Now we have so many ways of sending the queries to the database. Okay, we can improve the performance of the JDBC program in some ways, like we have seen until now. What are those ways? First way is by executing prepared statement. Second, we have improved with the help of callable statement. Then now we are moving to batch execution. Okay, first thing I wanted to tell about callable statement. Now callable statement is used to execute procedures and functions. Now the logic specified in the procedures or maybe in the function will be available inside the database server. As a developer, we do not want to specify the logic in the database server. As a developer, I am talking about. And the syntax of that procedure may vary from database to database also. Right? And therefore, we are not recommended to use procedure as per this perspective, not for business perspective. Okay. If someone is using procedures, means definitely that's the best choice. All right. Now, let's come to the prepared statement. For prepared statement, we can improve the performance definitely. Only if we are executing the same query multiple times. Right? If we are executing a query only one time and we are executing different queries, then prepared statement will not improve any performance. Prepared statement will not improve any performance. Then we will go for batch execution. Batch execution will improve the performance even if we execute different queries and sending all of them as a single request, as a form of a batch, like how, see this. Let me write one example here. Batch demo. Finish. Okay, so yes, all those steps we'll use the same steps. For registering the driver. Okay, driver manager dot get connection, and we got the connection object. We got the connection object. We will get the on dot create statement object. When you are executing statement dot, normally what you will do to execute a query, either you will use execute update or execute query. Instead of that, what you will do, statement dot, what's our first method? Add batch. What you can do? Insert, add the query, insert into employee values. Okay, 15, comma, single quotes. Okay. All right, I'm adding one query. This query will not go to the database server, but it will just add to my batch. Okay. What is showing? Okay, same way, st dot add batch of, I wanted to perform some insert query one more time. I can perform insert query. I want to perform one delete query also. I can add one delete query and delete a row. So whatever the queries I wanted to execute, I can put one by one there and execute the batch at once. Execute the batch at once like this. So if I don't add these queries inside a batch, and I can send directly, just add, execute, update and send the query as well. But still that will not be the best option, because every query is creating one binding variables, okay, to convert from Java language to SQL language, then SQL language to Java language. Okay, some bind variables will be required, some separate objects will be required, algorithms will be executed. Okay, there will be a huge network load. So instead of that, what I'm doing, I'm adding some batch data. Okay, so I'm sending it once like this. Okay, like this you can add multiple queries. st dot add batch you have provided, execute batch, save this file and run this file. Batch update execution error occurred during batch, missing comma. That batch is not creating. Where is that comma missing? This bracket, okay, double brackets are opening here, insert query, and okay, see this. Okay, so my whole batch is stopped. Now it's good, I guess, right? Let me run this file. Did this execute? Yes, it's terminated. I wanted to go and check. From 10 rows to 12 rows, data added. Okay. Where is the second one? 15th one. Okay, 15th one added here. 16th one is also added here. All right. 12 rows. I got 12 rows. Added the second batch. Okay, like this you can add. Like this you can add. What you can do, you can add multiple queries and send as a single batch. Why we are doing this? Because we don't want to perform each query to the database, and there will be a lot of drawbacks when we are doing that. Okay, so each and every type of query which we are sending from Java program to database, we have to pick according to the requirement. Actually, the business team will pick that. Okay, so what kind of procedures you require? Okay, whether you wanted to use as a procedure or a statement or a prepared statement or batch execution, whatever it may be. Okay, that your team will decide. Okay, according to that you have to work. You have to add a batch, or you want to work with statements or prepared statements, read the data, or you wanted to work with only procedures like that. Okay, everyone has some drawbacks and some advantages and disadvantages. Like that you can be able to execute it. Okay, so not only for add batch, once that is done, you can just clear the batch by calling a method called clear batch, which is here. Clear batch, the batch will be empty. Now again you can add some more queries. If you don't clear the batch, the same queries will go again. If it is a big program and you did not clear the batch, so every time you add the queries and execute the queries, you clear the batch. Okay, now one more thing. there is again, batch is also having some disadvantages. Like what? Using prepared statement, we can execute any kind of queries, whether it's a select query or non-select query. But using batch execution, we can only execute DML queries. DML means insert, update, delete, not the select queries. Okay, now what batch execution is doing? Reducing the load on the network. Okay, improving the performance by sending the queries at the same time. Okay, whether the queries are same or different, that is also doesn't matter, because everything is going as a batch. Okay. Next table. Is that the limit? Is there any database limit issue or something like that? What's his size? 1, 2, 3, 11. That's not a table actually. It's taking only 11 rows. 12th row is completely. I'm not sure exactly, because if you run this in IDE, mostly we use IDE. IDE should work properly only. Maybe that's the limit for this command prompts for every 11, or maybe you can increase. I don't know exactly. I'll check and let you know. If you use IDE or something else or web link to execute the queries, it doesn't even matter. And this is also the same. If you call a result set, you will get as a single query only. I mean single table from 1 to 12. Okay, so batch execution is done. Okay. Let's see. We have some few more things in JDBC to see. All right, so we'll see that in next class. All right, in next coming classes we'll try to finish JDBC in 2 to 3 classes. We'll see what are the examples left we need to see, and let me know if you have any issues until now. All right. Okay then. Any doubts? Any issues? Any issues from the previous examples? Statement, private statement, callable statement, creating procedures, creating functions, and result sets, crawlable and updatable. You have to practice now. Then we have to go for some more topics like what are metadatas and all. Okay, we'll see all those things and we'll continue. No, actually, no. We cannot go for Spring unless and until we know servlets. Without servlets, we cannot go for Spring. Probably Spring, we do not have a discussion on Spring actually. Without servlets, doing Spring is impossible. So we immediately after JDBC have to go for servlets. Then we'll plan for Spring. Okay. And Spring servlets will also not take that long. Like, see how many classes we have completed for JDBC, like 7 or 8, I guess. And basically there are 2 to 3 major classes are there where how to establish the connection and send the queries. That's it. The rest there are some small differences. So what are the difference between statement to prepared to callable, and from batch execution and all those things? Okay, major classes are 2 to 3 in JDBC. Like that, it will not take that long for servlets as well. Okay, so only 2 to 3 classes will be like little bit difficult. Rest all the classes are very easy. Servlets also you can do it. Completion of the course of like what all courses you have included in this. So many things are there. Servlets will take another 2 weeks. Okay, then we can easily go for Spring. Anyone interested to go for any other things? Let us know. We'll plan for that. Definitely there will be a Spring. Servlets and JSPs comes together. Servlets is for understanding JSPs only. We work in JSPs because without servlets we cannot understand JSPs. Okay, like XML, how to write an XML table. There will not be a separate course for XML, but I will explain how to write an XML page. Okay, servlets, JSPs, XML comes under same thing. Servlets, JSPs, tag libraries, all those things will come. Hibernate will come, depends on you guys, how well your servlets will do, because we are already done with JDBC. We can go for Hibernate anytime, but we are planning for whether to go for Spring or Hibernate. We'll see that. We'll let you know. I'll speak to Darba first, because they are giving priority to Spring. That's fine, that's right, but still Hibernate is also required definitely. So we'll see, we'll let you know what's next, because the next step will be definitely servlets. Parallelly, people can give time, then we can start Hibernate, because immediately after servlets, Spring will start. If Hibernate does not end on time, then there will be a problem for you guys only. You have to attend 2 separate batches, 2 separate frameworks. And if you're planning to do something else like web services or any SQL or UI part, then again, so we'll discuss and let you know. Okay. Anything else? Let me know. Any doubts? Any more questions? We'll discuss. We can add those on meetings. Okay. Okay, then we'll stop here. I'll see you in tomorrow's class. Thank you.